The police are the public, and the public are the police. The police being only members of the public who are paid to give full-time attention to duties which are incumbent on every citizen in the interests of community welfare and existence. That's a quote by Robert Peel, and that is a good way to start Police and Citizens this morning on CitizenFM 93.7. It is the 13th day in the month of July. The year is 2022. My name is Kemi Asheku. My loved ones call me Kem, and I like it that way. And how do we discuss police and citizens if we don't have a police in-house? We do have one. We have in the studio this morning a member of the Police Public Relations Department in the person of SP Jez Manz. A very good morning to you, officer.
Good morning, listener.
And good to have you in our studio this morning.
It's a privilege.
I want to say I want to say well done for, this is from all of us citizens to all of you policemen. Well done for all you do for our community, for Nigeria, and for the world at large. The police is a thankless job. It's something that you subscribe to do, even at the expense of personal comfort. So we as citizens will never be able to thank you enough for all that you sacrifice just to keep us safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much for appreciating our effort.
Great. Okay, so this morning on Police and Citizens, we are looking at jungle justice. Social justice is a cancer. Social justice means you are ruled by whatever the mob does. But what social justice does is to destroy individual responsibility. Now, mob justice, or what we call jungle justice, is when a person who is suspected to be a criminal is bitten by a group of people or crowd. And with stones, machetes, clubs, or anything they can lay their hands on. Mob justice is a practice where the mob just takes laws into their hands in order to injure or kill a person accused of wrongdoing. Accused being the key word. SP Manza, we have almost an epidemic of mob justice or jungle justice in Nigeria. Why does it continue? Because one would expect that at some point it should stop. But why does it continue?
Okay, well, let's give a background to jungle justice.
Please go ahead.
You know, when people take the laws into their hands, assume the responsibility of the law enforcement agent, they also assume the position of the judiciary. So they pass judgment without any recourse to the constituted authorities that have been instituted by the law of our land to carry out such responsibility. The law enforcement agents are to investigate, to bring out the fact that such a person has committed the offense. And once the person is found culpable, or based on the findings and the facts available, it transmits both its finding and the suspect in question to the judiciary, where the individual is subjected to trial, after which the judiciary will either pass a judgment, either declaring the person to have been found guilty of the offense or exonerating the person in question of the offense. If you look at the little I've said, there is a procedure before a person is pronounced guilty of the offense. And if you notice, I was careful in the choice of my word. I said suspect. I didn't say the person. I didn't declare the person to have committed the offense.
Guilty. You didn't
I didn't declare him guilty, because even as law enforcement agents, we cannot declare any individual guilty.
Even as law enforcement agents,
we cannot declare an individual guilty. The court of law will be the ones who pronounce an individual either guilty or not guilty of an offense. Ours is to ensure that, one, we do due diligence in the point of investigating. By the time we investigate, we'll harness the facts together. When we harness the facts together, we'll present the facts as gathered in the course of investigation to the judiciary, to the court. The court will now discharge its own duty and now make the pronouncement. At that point, only the court can make a pronouncement and say this person is guilty or not guilty of the offense in question. Ours is to investigate, and that's why at our own level, if a person is brought to us we say the person is a suspect.
Okay.
Let's not forget the law says everybody is presumed innocent until proven. And who proves it? The judiciary, the court. So it for the individual, for the citizens to take up the position of both the law enforcement agents, the position of the judiciary, that's the court. It does not mean well for us, because an individual that you may think has committed an offense, even if the person was caught in the act, you do not have the right to pass judgment on the person without allowing the person to go through the process where he will now be, where you have established facts that will now lay the person, that will nail the person to the offense he or she has committed.
Okay, now you said that even if the person is caught in the act,
yes.
Now if, for example, the proponents, the people who love jungle justice, one of the first things they will say is, if we go through the whole gamut of what the law says, he might be released. You understand, and that's why they want to give instant justice to such suspects, So in such an instance, for example, yes. If there is a citizen who is standing by and wondering, what do I do to stop this or halt this thing so that it doesn't, perhaps this person is, even if he was caught in the act, what does such a person do?
Okay, this is it. Let's go back to your quote on Robert Bell.
Yes.
It says the people are the police.
Yes.
There is a harmonious relationship between the police and the citizens. When you find someone committing an offense, the citizen has a right, has a responsibility, not just a right, it's a responsibility that is incumbent on the citizen to assist the police. You can either allow the police that have seen so and so breaking into so and so's premises or property. But if you are there and you feel you have the capacity to overpower the person,
to apprehend
him. When you apprehend, your responsibility as a citizen is, as soon as you apprehend, you can either call the police and say, okay, we've got so person for this offense. The police will now pick up the person.
Okay.
And will now go through the process of investigation to begin to ask him some cardinal questions, which forms basis of the investigation will be carried out. And if you feel where you are, it's easier for you to reach the police station than to call the police to come. You will take the person and hand over to the police. Your role as a citizen will now come in at the point of investigation. You have a responsibility to go and ask questions. Please, we want to know how far you've gone with this investigation on the suspect who handed over to you.
Really?
Yes, you can do a follow-up on it. You arrested, so you should know. You should follow up on the case, even up until when it will get to the court of law. You should know. So you as a citizen, you can do a follow-up. The challenge we always have is people sit down and assume. People sit down and assume. You don't assume things. Beyond, I would always, and whenever I have a platform of this nature, I would always tell people this. You must learn to cultivate a relationship, build a relationship with the police. Do not just wait until when there's an incident before you feel you should go to the police station. Once in a while, you take a walk to the hospital, isn't it? At times you go and greet patients in the hospital. At times you go and say, well done to the doctors who are working in the hospital. Right? You go around not because you are ill, not because you have anyone that is ill. At times just to encourage people who are working there to build a relationship. Okay. Are you with me? So if you live within a community, it is good for you to know who is my DPO. It is good to know for you
SP Manza.
Yeah.
I know that the police is currently wearing a new face, courtesy of the IGP, the FPROs, and But then, I don't want to be one of those who assume.
Okay.
But I'm saying what you're saying now is that as an average citizen, I can walk into the police post, the police station to ask for whom I.
True. Okay, this is it.
Nobody is going to say who goes there.
No. Let me lay this foundation.
Okay, please do.
I will give you an instance using myself. People have called me on different occasions, those I do not know, to say, we appreciate what you're doing.
Okay.
Individuals that I have never known, and I can attach a face to the numbers that I have called. People have come to my office to come and say, we're just passing by. I'm just fair to come and say hello to you.
Let's go.
I am Susan. Then I'm narrowing it down to someone. I'm narrowing it down.
Okay.
Within a division, you live within a division. Let's use the case of Karimu, for instance. You live in Karimu. There's a police station in Karimu. All right? You don't know you don't know who and who works in Karimo. When there's a distress, that call you will put across to the FCT Police Command Headquarters control room. You would have easily done it if you had a relationship with division in Karimo, because it is the first responder.
Okay.
Are you getting it? It is the first responder. Because whatever call you put up to the control room was to transmit the same call to the division in Karimo, because they believe Karimo is the closest point to respond to the distress. So if we build that relationship as citizens, I take a walk. Sorry, good morning, officer. Right from the gate. I am so and so person. I'm just here to see the DPO. No appointment. They will oblige you. I'm not here to lodge a complaint, but I felt I need to come and build a relationship. There's no string attached to it.
That is a possibility?
Very well. Very, very well.
That's news even to me.
It's not news.
It's news to me.
It's not news.
If it's news to me, it must be news to a lot of citizens.
But perhaps I think the whole idea behind it is the way we structure our mindset.
Okay.
The way we structure our mindset. We must begin to free ourselves. We must begin to free ourselves of certain form of mindset. You know, when you've programmed your mind to believe and assume things in a given way, you do not see the flip side of it, which is the positive and the favorable one. All you believe is you see it from a different perspective. With keeping open mind, you say, okay, let me give this a try. What I expect us to do is, if I live within a community, I am saying this because it's more beneficial to the citizens. It's very, very beneficial to the citizens, because if you live, for instance, like I was given an example with Karimo, for instance.
Yes, please go ahead.
The citizens within that location, if you have a distress, at that point you have the DPO's number. You're not taking the number for any pecuniary gain. You can ask the DPO, I live within this community and I felt I need to come around to come and say hello to you, and also to have any contact that we could reach out to in case of a distress. By going, you have made the work of the DPO easier. By going, you have made the work for your own self easier too, because if there's a distress, it's easier for you to know whom to contact.
Okay. Now, let's look at it in another way now. I like this because this is particularly very good news. It means that the citizens can interface with the police without fear, of being attacked or being without fear of being attacked or something being collected from them. Now, but let's look at it this way. Is there a possibility of the police having this list of numbers somewhere on a website?
No, the numbers are available.
All DPOs across the country.
Across the country, you have it in each state. In each state, you have the numbers that are in circulation.
I do know that the FPRO, CSP Adejobi, always posts it on his Twitter handle.
Across the nation, you will see, if you go to the police website, you have those of the commissioners of police across the country. Okay. You have the contacts of all the police public relations officers. So when you get to the command, for instance, in FCT, we have them flying. Apart from the phone numbers of the control room, you have those of the divisions across FCT. All the divisions in FCT, you have the contacts. These I'm very much aware of that have been in circulation, right? Yeah. And if perhaps you feel you cannot reach out to these numbers, that's why you have the command public relations officer. The doors are wide open. At any point where you go to a division and you feel you have not gotten the desired response, the point of call is the public relations officer's office. You will meet the public relations officer. This is the challenge I have. I have reached out to this and this and this, and this is the feedback I've got. The feedback I'm getting from this direction is not impressive. It's incumbent on the public relations officer to try to go back to the said division in question to identify what was the cause of such anomaly and see how it can be mitigated against area occurrence.
Okay, you are listening to CitizenFM 93.7. This is Police and Citizens, and this is where we get to have this, the citizens interface with the police so that we can know more about these great gentlemen who stay awake so that the rest of us can sleep. And that way, we can also have a harmonious relationship between the police and the citizens. It is 21 minutes past 9. We'll take a quick break. When we do come back, we will go back to jungle justice, and this time we will also touch more on cultivating a good relationship with the policemen. Do stay with Citizen FM 93.7. I'll be back in a bit.
Wavex Pleasure Ride. Here at last, join the safest, classiest, and cheapest taxi ride in town. Wavex Taxi Ride for absolute safety and comfort. Available in over 500 cities in Nigeria, Africa, Europe, and America. Download the app now from the Google Store.
Nigeria go better. Nigeria go better. Nigeria go better. Nigeria go better. If Nigeria go better, now your hand it is. If Nigeria go better, now my hand it is. Make we join us together, make Nigeria for better. Nigeria go better. Nigeria go better. 93.7 Citizen FM.
Citizen FM 93.7 is 23 minutes past 9. And, well, we have in the studio SP Jez Manz, a member of the police public relations department, and we're looking at jungle justice. But we have gotten into a very interesting, we've branched into a very interesting part, and that is cultivating a healthy relationship with the policemen, in your neighborhood. For me, one of the things he said was that you could actually walk into the station to ask for the DPO's contact and all of that, and establish a working relationship with the police officers in your neighborhood. And I said to him that this is news, even to me, and I'm supposed to be educated. I don't know. I think we need to talk about this more. How do we? Because you could get to the gates, for example, and you say, "I'd like to see the DPO." Of course, you know that there are a lot of checks and balances before you finally get to the DPO. So if you get there and maybe the person that you're interfacing with initially, wonders who you are, where you're coming from, and sends you back, you won't go back the next day, if you get what I mean.
I get what you're saying, right? But let me put it in this perspective.
Please.
I think I've said it earlier. As soon as you get to the gate, first thing you do is the normal courtesy. Your normal courtesy. Okay, good day or good morning, whichever time of the day it is. Introduce yourself. I am so and so person. I reside within this community. I have come to see the DPO. I'm not on an appointment, but I just felt it expedient to appreciate what you guys are doing, to relate with you, and I want to see the DPO. That's just my mission of coming to the station this morning, or at this hour of the day.
The DPO is not on seat.
The DPO is not on seat. You have a DCO, the Divisional Crime Officer. The DCO is not on seat. You have other persons you have a DTO. You have other officers within the division. There's no way that you come to a station and they will say everybody is out, it's away. It's not possible.
If they tell me the DPO is not on seat, and I say, okay, I want to see the next officer, and the person says even that is not on seat.
There is one thing I can tell you authoritatively.
Yes.
Is there is no way you come to the station that you don't see the DPO. You will not meet the DCO, DCO 1, DCO 2, and DCO 3. You have the JWC, that's the gender officer. You have the DTO, Divisional Traffic Officer. There's no way you will come to the station and say you don't. If I
don't know all these titles.
No, you can tell the person. This is it. As soon as you arrive, please, I am here to see the DPO. If they say the DPO is not on ground, please, can you take me to the most senior person on ground?
Okay. Citizens, you can hear from the police. This is Police and Citizens, and we are trying our best to have a good and an amazing working relationship with the police force. Let's go back to jungle justice. For example, in May this year, a sound engineer, David Imo, and his two friends in Lekki were lynched by a mob of Okada riders over a misunderstanding of 100 naira. Let's assume that an average citizen is a passerby. What does that citizen do?
Okay, we all have a responsibility. Oftentimes, when these things are happening, you will see some persons sit down, either they take the video, they are videoing, instead of calling for police, for police to intervene in the issue. Your role as a citizen, when you find yourself in this situation, perhaps the population is overwhelming, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have a responsibility to alert the police. Not just the police, because it's an issue of life and death. Any law enforcement agent you see within that vicinity, you reach out to the law enforcement agent, right? The police, we have outposts. We have you can see policemen maybe at any given point, and you have any contact. Please don't hesitate to put a call across and say we have so and so.
Is there a general line that one can easily remember? I think I should leave that to
I think there's a line that we've been worked on that will soon be launched, and it will be just like you have the 911. Yes, the police is coming up with a line that will be that will be designated for people to call to. But beyond that, we have control rooms across the 37 commands, including FCT. That's 36 states, including FCT, that's 37, where you can reach out to. All these control rooms have numbers that residents, the citizens within such vicinity or such states can easily call in case of distress. And the response, I assure you that once we have a clear-cut description of where the incident is happening, you have a better response. I do understand that the police has a Rescue Me app. Yes, the police has a Rescue Me app.
And what does? Yeah, can you
the application in question? It has a real time whenever you log into the system, it has the capacity to tell where your location is. It's an application you could easily use in times of distress. When you're in a distress situation, I don't know what to do. Once you have the applications installed in your phone, all you need to do is, once you press the appropriate knob, it will alert the center that there's a distress situation in this location. The center in question will now reach out to
across Nigeria.
Yes.
So every citizen can download the Rescue Me app.
The application it can download the Rescue Me app. Every citizen can download the Rescue Me app. Once you just go to the app stores, you just say Rescue Me app. The app will come up. By the time you download it into your system, you will communicate to the central point. The central point will now identify your location. Based on the location you are giving, without you telling us that this is where I am, the system will tell us your exact location, and based on that, we will now say, okay, this division is the appropriate division to respond to the situation in question. It will now come in to respond to the situation.
And that for kidnap cases, that will be a very good one, isn't it?
Sure.
Okay, let's go back to this jungle justice. Now, you see the challenge with jungle justice sometimes. I'll give you an example. I was watching a video recently, and all of a sudden, somebody started shouting, ole, 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 ole. And somebody who had no business with it at all started running. And then people started running after him. Right. In a situation of such occurrence, what should you as a citizen or an individual do?
Okay, this is it. If you found a person committing a crime.
No, this one didn't even commit the crime. Okay.
I'm coming. I'll come back to where you're going to.
Okay.
Because why I'm saying I will come back to it is a lot of innocent citizens have been caught up in this, and their lives have been ended because they were not given room for fair hearing, because there was no investigation carried out. Even if you found a person committing the offense, it's an appeal that you have a responsibility as a citizen to arrest an individual you caught committing an offense. But when you arrest, hand over to the police. And the best you could also do is to follow up on the case. That's the best you could do, to follow up on the case and say, okay, please, I want to know what is the update on this particular case. We could say the first regulation officer is always a CSP Muyiwa Adijovi, is always on the Twitter, responding to issues, responding to citizens. And people would ask him, we want to know about this case. You will notice he will not say I'll get back to you, and he'll come up with the feedback on the said issue. We are duty bound to avail you with feedback. We are duty bound to avail you with feedback. If you have made an arrest, it's your duty to know what happened to the suspect you arrested and handed over. Was the suspect charged to court? How did it end? You need to know. You don't just go and sit down in your house and say, okay, I hand it over to the police. It's your responsibility to come around and say, okay, sorry, I was among those who arrested this suspect, and I want to know how it ended. And you feel if you feel you're not getting the desired feedback, at that point you can now rush down to the public relations officer of that command and say, this is it, I made this we arrested so and so, but we have not gotten any feedback. We don't know what's up with the case in question. So when you arrest someone and people just raise an alarm, it could be false alarm. Do not just join the mob to begin to lynch the individual. Or rather, join, arrest the person. Let's assume that the person committed the offense. Arrest the person and hand over to the police. When the police does its due diligence and its offense investigation over the issue, we can now begin to ask, okay, this is how far we've gone on the case. You also give us facts to buttress the fact that this person in question actually committed the offense based on the information we are getting from you, because you are also an important element to our investigation. You assist us a great deal, because the information we are getting from you will also help us to nail the person for the offense he or she has committed. But when we take the laws into our hands and dispense the jungle justice, what we do is we've not given the person the privilege of fair hearing. 2, perhaps the person is working in consonance with other persons. We will not have the privilege of knowing who he's working with. So we've not given the opportunity to other members of the gang to continue to perpetrate the crime. But when you arrest and bring, we'll now begin to follow up the syndicate and say, okay, who are you working with? From there, more information is coming to our table, and we'll begin to make further arrests. By the time we make further arrests, what have we done? We've reduced those syndicates that have been terrorizing the community from operation. But when they just catch and lynch, one, we don't know the modus operandi. You've not given us the privilege to know the modus operandi. Where do they sit down to perpetrate it? Where do they sit down to plan their crime? You've not given us opportunity. You've not given us opportunity to know who are involved in this act. So you've caught up a lot you've caught up a lot from the law enforcement, from the police. You've denied the police access to a lot of information that would have helped them to fight this crime in the future. Right? So what you've done is you've not also helped yourself, because you're allowing the other ones to continue to breed. Just like let's say you are killing mosquito. All you do is, okay, the one I just saw now, you kill. You've not gone to the gutters where those people, the mosquitoes are hibernating, where they breed. You've not gone to go and see what you can do to either to fumigate that environment, to clean it up. You've not done that, and you focus more on killing that particular one that will always come and come and disturb you while you are sleeping.
And they may come back.
Yeah, they will come back because more will come. More will come.
They will just make sure they don't get caught.
We are saying no to jungle justice. It's a no to jungle justice. It's not the best for us, because when you do jungle justice, one, innocent citizens might be caught up in the situation. 2, you will be blocking access to vital information that will lead to exposing other members of the gang.
All right, you're listening to Police and Citizens on CitizenFM 93.7. I have in the studio with me SP Jez Manz, and we are looking at jungle justice. He has also mentioned cultivating a good relationship with the police officers in your community to ease the burden of securing your neighborhood on the police, because at the end of the day, security is everybody's business. If you see something, you ought to say something to the police and also give them an opportunity to do better their job. It's time for me to open the phone lines. The numbers to call: 0818 22 22 205, 0818 22 22 205. Alternatively, you can call 0808 22 22 037 or 0903 22 29 797. I take that again: 0903 22 29 797 or 0808 22 22 037. 037 or 0818 22 22 205. The program is Police and Citizens, and we are looking at jungle justice this morning. I asked this question. In a situation, right, where you are just a bystander, and I'm going back to that question, and you start to hear people shouting, as a citizen, what is the first thing for you to do? This is why I ask. I've seen a video where they were shouting, ole ole, and another person was running, and then they left the person they were pursuing and started pursuing this person. Do you understand? So as a citizen, in a situation like that, what do you do?
Alert the police. Alert the police. No, why I say you should alert?
You know the frenzy that comes with this thing when they start. The first thing in anybody's mind, especially for men, for women, you can just quickly shift that. It's not, but especially for men, the first thing on their mind is bolts.
Yes, what I'm saying is this: one, you get a safer place, safer point, right?
Okay.
To keep yourself, then you alert the police. You need to be on a safer. You shouldn't be in their midst. And
most importantly, you shouldn't run.
No, you shouldn't be in their midst, right?
Okay.
When you see running situations like this, you try to just take the safest point, right? To keep yourself safe. Then you now draw the attention of the police and tell them that this is the situation.
Hold the thought, please. Hello? Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello? Oops, okay. All right, you can try the number again, 0818 22 22 205. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so you get a safer point where you know you are safe. Then you alert the police that this is the situation at this point. Keeping mum will not solve the situation because, one, yes, you are safe. What about the person in question? So you also have to put that into consideration. Let's also assume that if the person in question is your relative, what would you have done?
So you don't say it's none of my business.
So if the person in question is your relative, it's your blood, it's from someone in your bloodline, what would you have done? Would you have also looked away? Would you have also looked away? That which you want to do for a relative, do it for every citizen.
That's a very good one. That which you would love to do for your relative, do it for every citizen. This WhatsApp message here says, "Hi, Citizen FM, you're doing a great job. I'm enjoying this Police and Citizens program. I would like to find out more about how to cultivate a healthy relationship with police officers. My name is Bisi. I'm texting in from Apple." Thank you, Bisi. So she would like to know what it takes to cultivate a more healthy relationship with police officers.
Interestingly, cultivating a relationship with the police does not cost anything. You benefit more from it.
Okay.
You glad she lives in Apo. Around Apo resettlement, there's a police station there. It doesn't take anything, BC, if you are listening to me, to take a walk to the division, Apo division there.
Okay.
And tell them you are a citizen, you are a resident of Apo, and you felt you need to know who your DPO is. You need to relate with the police at a more cordial level. You've not come to lodge a complaint.
Okay.
You've only come to build a relationship. Tell them you are there to see the DPO. If the DPO is not on ground, they tell the DPO is not on ground. Tell them, please, can they take you to the most senior person, the most senior person on ground? There's no way you will not have access to someone who will respond to you. Okay,
let's look at not my community. Let's say I'm driving and I've been stopped by the police officers. What do I do?
Okay, if you're stopped by the police, the first thing is accord him the respect of his duty. If it says you should please park, it's your responsibility as a citizen to park. As soon as the policeman stops you, you pull off the road. That's the polite thing and the most civilized thing to do. Good afternoon, officer, or good morning, officer. Normal day courtesy. As he extends pleasantry, you also extend pleasantry to him. And he says, please, can you oblige me? Can you open your boot for me? Right? It takes nothing out of you if you come out most respectfully and go to the boot. I wouldn't say sit down in your car, open the boot and say go and check. It's not proper. It's not proper for you. It's also not proper for the policeman. Okay. Because from either side, you might have accusations. So when you open the door, when he says, please can you open the boot, the first thing is you have to calm down because he's not supposed to be communicating with you while you're in the car.
Okay. Okay.
Right? If he says, if at his own, at the policeman's discretion, if he feels he's okay with you sitting in the car, there's no problem. But if you say, please can you calm down, can you open the boot of your car? You open once, I know the opening is from inside. When you open, you politely go, you lift your boot yourself. Let him do his check while you observe. If there's nothing, he will not say, okay, the officer will not tell you, okay, you can go. But if he wants to ask you further questions, please oblige. And where you feel not very comfortable, you can answer, okay, sorry, I am constrained on A, B, and C. But you are duty bound as a citizen to respond to inquiries from the police. The inquiries, because oftentimes the challenge we have is people are always in a hurry. People are not patient with the process. You feel anytime the policeman stops you is to inconvenience you. You may not know if the policeman is acting on an intelligence, is acting on a distress on an information that was passed was put across from the control room and that requires prompt response. Maybe someone's car has been stolen and we are on the lookout for it, or someone has been suspected. The citizen must have seen a car with a given specification and say, this car, I saw it move from this place and it seems as if the car is carrying A, B, and C.
Okay.
Based on that description, they will not say, okay, look out for this particular car. So these are some of the things that might come into play when we are carrying out this check to ensure that, okay, what we are looking out for is not there. And once we do the check and we notice nothing incriminating is found, thank you very much for your time. You can take a leave.
Well, especially for people who are driving, sometimes the police asks for some documents. I recall that there was a day we were driving and then the police was asking for whether the documents for the, the plate number and all of that. I think it's that delay that sometimes irritates the citizens.
The issue is this, which is more important, that we carry out due diligence for the safety of all. Or we allow you in a hurry and we endanger everybody.
The answer is obvious. The right answer is obvious.
So we should not always look at when you go to the hospital and you have an emergency. Sorry, I'm using the hospital.
The police are the hospital of the citizens. Yes.
I'm having, for instance, stomach ache, and you are in pain. Doctor is there. You came and meet other patients. Are you gonna go? What do? You vest and go home and say, I'm not gonna see the doctor. You are there for a purpose. You'll be patient with the process. Because when you go to the hospital, you see the doctor will not even give you the prescription immediately. You don't say, I'm sending you into the lab. The lab will take its sample and say, you come back tomorrow. Are you saying you're not coming back? So I think we should apply this something whenever we have an encounter with the police. In as much as we make concerted effort to ensure that we don't cause undue and unnecessary hardship.
1 minute, please. Hello, good morning. Okay, thank you. Please try to call back. Looks like my line is having an issue this morning. Please go ahead.
Yes, in as much as we would make concerted effort not to subject citizens to unnecessary hardship, when it becomes incumbent for us to carry out our duties, we appeal to citizens to also reason and understand with us. We're not doing it because we want to cause hardship. We are doing it because we want to serve them better. We are doing it because we want to protect them. Because if, for instance, you allow them to go, you allow everybody to go without carrying out those necessary checks, and the person in question is going to go and harm your relative, you don't know if the person's destination is someone close to you, or his mission is to go and carry out an attack on someone that is close to you, on your relative, on someone that is dear to you, and it happens. I think we wouldn't want to get to that particular point. No. And that's why some of these things have become necessary. If we'll be patient when we go to the hospital, because we need to regain our health, I implore the citizens to also put in this understanding when you are relating with the police. We are not there to cause hardship, like I said earlier. but we are there to make society safer for each and every one of us.
Let's look at jungle justice again. What if you have a relative who has been a victim of jungle justice? What do you do in such an instance?
Yes, if the person has been a victim, one is to raise an alarm. If you can identify those who are behind the act, you can report. Because what we'll not be looking at is assault.
And if they kill the person, then
they
murder.
Kill the person, if they murder the person and the family are there, there's no expiration date for investigation. The key thing is, if the family is able to come forward with facts and figures behind those who have been linked to such a crime, we are duty bound to begin to do our investigation. Because if the person is dead, we will now begin to treat a homicide case. And we'll begin to ask questions that will lead us to the arrest of the individuals who are behind this crime. Let's not forget, even if the man is an armed robber, you don't have a right to take his life. If you are arrested, you also go for a murder. Let me place this on the table. Let me shake this table small.
Please shake it.
I want to shake the table small.
Please shake
and
it.
I think for those of us who are involved in, who feel jungle justice is the best way to go, even if the person is confirmed to have committed a crime, you do not have the right to take any life. Because once we arrest you, we also treat you as a criminal. We will treat you as someone who has committed an offense, because we will not be talking about the issue of either, we will not be talking of murder or a homicide case. That's how it will be treated. And so you will now be responding to a case of culpable homicide. You will now begin to answer for your role in the death of the person. And the end of it will be a court of law.
So let's take a look at for example, you a passerby, you see them doing it. You're not someone who subscribes to jungle justice. You are able to take pictures, you're able to take videos. How is the police going to be able to do such an investigation? Like the passerby doesn't subscribe to mob justice and, is able to take some pictures, some videos, able to trace one or two people. What do they do with that information?
It's vital. You've made the work easier for us. Because what we need is evidence to prove that A, B, and C was involved in this act. And with those pictures you have given to us, you've assisted us a great deal to unravel the circumstances surrounding the killing of such a person. Now we'll now begin to attach faces to the commission of the crime. We'll now begin to attach sin to the commission of the crime. We'll now begin to have things we'll now confront these persons with and say, okay, this person in this picture, does he or she look like you? We'll now know those who are looking out for. And if it means approaching the court to declare the individuals wanted, we'll now go to that extent of declaring the individuals wanted for the commission of a state crime. And we'll now call on citizens, whenever you see this person, please help us, alert the police. If you can arrest and hand over to the police.
Okay, this one here says, hi, my name is Abib. I was arrested by the police because my neighbor made a complaint about me. I wasn't given fair hearing and I was kept in detention for a few days. What do I do now?
In such situations, Habib, I don't know what the complaint against you is.
Okay.
Because now we need to understand what was the nature of the complaint that was leveled against him. But where you feel you were unnecessarily detained, you were not given an opportunity for fair hearing, you have the PPRO, the Police Public Relations Officer. You can reach out to the PPRO that this is your grievance, you have this experience. The PPRO will now reach out to the division to really get to understand what really transpired. And from there, we can pick up.
Okay. Well, you're listening to CitizenFM 93.7. It is 10 minutes to the end of Police and Citizens. It's been an enlightening session having SP Manz in the studio here. And I'm sorry about the phone lines. I don't know what's wrong with it. Sometimes it just has a mind of its own, But then, thank you for the messages you're sending in. SP Manz, before you go, one of the greatest challenges people have with, going ahead with jungle justice, right, is the fact that they feel that I have been erred and I have the opportunity to do my own back, right? How do you address such people? How would you address such people?
I think I would use this word: an eye for an eye
makes the whole world blind.
So you've not solved the situation. I think it's the best justice you can get is when such a person has carried out this act, hand him over. If you have a privilege of reporting the person, if not even a privilege, you have the right to report the person in question to the police and say, this is it. Come up with your facts. I know it will, at times, investigation may not be as spontaneous as you want it.
Or as fast.
Yes. Because that's where most people don't really understand. Okay, I came and reported this case, and my case is taking forever. That's because at times you need to do some things, you need to get some facts, you need to do some due diligence to put the facts together. So come up with your facts, be patient with the process, while we make follow-ups to establish the case against the individual.
Okay, it looks like this one came through. Hello, good morning.
Tommy, good morning.
Good morning. What's up, Bode? I think this is Bode. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Bode.
Okay, where are you calling from today?
Tell me, I'm calling from AYA presently.
All right, good. Go ahead. I have SP Manza in the studio with me.
Because of the jungle justice, that's why I decided to call. Manza.
Thank you, Mr.
I know you will be a very good police officer. But let me give you a scenario. Sometime in 2000, I was born and brought up in Ajigule, but I'm in Abuja presently. You know, if you live in Lagos, you know what Ajigule is made up of. Now, a group of boys were arrested and were taken to Ajeromi police station. We later found out that they were transferred to Kirikiri police station. After 3 months, those guys were released. And they came after those who took them to that police station. Unfortunately for them, they were overpowered and they were given jungle justice. How will you feel when you hand over a criminal to a police station and at the end of the day you see the same person roaming the streets? When you caught him, what will you do? Good morning.
Good morning, Bode. Thank you.
Mr. Bode.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Bode. In such situation, I think one thing that was not very clear to me was the person charged to court. Because we also need to establish some of those things. Because
what if they were bailed?
If they were bailed, right?
Why would they have been bailed?
From where?
No, what I'm saying, what if they were bailed?
If they were bailed, because the court can grant bail, right? The case can be charged to court, right? After being charged to court, and at a certain point, the court now says, okay, based on its own assessment of the situation, and grant the person a bail, right? But if an individual of that nature comes back within the community, you're also duty bound to say, okay, we've had this so and so occurrence with this particular set of persons, and you
will not apprehend them.
I'm coming, madam. No,
okay, please go ahead.
Just listen to me first.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So you may not apprehend, right? One, it's for you to keep an eye on such persons. It's for you to keep an eye on such persons, because if the individual has gone through the court process, for instance, the person is a convict, and the court, after serving his term, he has to be freed. He has to come back to the community. You cannot stop a person from coming back to the community. The only thing we cannot do is that issue of relationship between the police and the community comes in. Is to keep an eye on the individual. Working with the police to say, okay, people in the community can work with the police to provide information with the police that this person who has done A, B, and C is back to the community. The police will not be a searchlight on the individual to keep monitoring the individual. But for us to go the path of jungle justice, it still does not solve this problem. Because when you met out jungle justice, the police will still come back for those of you who committed a crime. Because you've also committed a crime. You cannot, in the course of trying to solve a crime, commit another crime.
Okay.
That's what we are doing. If you take the path of jungle justice, you are trying to solve a crime, then you commit another crime that is even higher.
And then it becomes a vicious circle. Yes. Okay, SP Manza, before you go, let's ask, for you as a police officer, how do you think citizens can make the job of the police easier?
First is to see the police as your friend. When I say friend, not as a cliche, but see it as, these people, I need the police, and the police need me to serve them better. Let's understand one thing. Manza is a policeman not for himself. He's a policeman for the country. He's serving the citizen. And for me to serve you better, the best you can do for me is to support me with information. For the police to serve you better, the best you can do for the police within your locality, for the police, is to be a good citizen, that when you see something, you allow the police and say, this is what we've seen within this community. So it ought to be, and it should be, a symbiotic relationship that both parties win at the same time. Both parties win because the police win, the citizens also win.
Yeah.
So don't withhold information from the police. Then keep an open mind. Let's not always presume. That's actually what the problem is. That's what the problem is. Let's not presume, because oftentimes you assume that this is it without giving it a try. Give it a try, and if there are, give it a try, and if there are some anomalies, let's identify the anomalies and see how we can correct them to avoid a reoccurrence.
Okay, and that is how we will drop the anchor on this package of Police and Citizens this morning on CitizenFM 93.7. Many thanks to USP Manza for enlightening us. And now the calls are coming in, and I hope that we can still take them. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yes.
My greeting to the guest.
Thank you. What's your name, please?
My name is Jamil.
Jamil, where are you calling from?
Calling from Wusetu.
All right, please go ahead. 30 seconds, please.
All right. My question is to the guest in the studio. Is that why is it in Abuja there are a couple of places where you see certain things happening, and not far from that place, you see there's police formation. Let me just give you an example.
Jamil, certain things like
in Dabi garage, in the middle of Dabi garage, there are these guys that sells Indian hemp, where the openly you see a heap of Indian hemp, cutting it, packaging it. Then not far from that place there is a police post there, and the some police passes through those places. This is something unfortunate.
All right, Jamil, thank you very much. You said Jabi Garage, is that what you say?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. We have to let you go.
Let me give
sorry, Jamil. You can send a WhatsApp message. I will try to forward it to the PRO. I'll try to forward it to SP Jez Manz too. You can quickly respond to that.
Jamil, I want to treat that as an information. So let me I will take this as an information, and I will reach out to the appropriate division.
All right. Thank you very much, SP Jez Manz, for being our guest today. We are looking forward to talking about cultism next week. Right.
That will be interesting.
Okay, and I do know that if not you, somebody from the PRO department will be here for Police and Citizens next week by the grace of God. Thank you very much for being our guest this morning on Police and Citizens. We wish you well. We hope that the work will not overwhelm you, and that the citizens will also not overwhelm you, and the police will continue to be our friends.
We are there for them.
Thank you very much. Now, mob action has no ethnic, tribal, or religious coloration. It cuts across all spheres of our nation, across different social stratas. It's a barbaric way of administering justice. People who are pro-jungle justice may have their four arguments. It is important to note that human blood is sacred, and every innocent blood shed cries against all those involved. We should be mindful of that always. My name is Kemi Ashekun. My loved ones call me Kem. Thank you for being a part of the show this morning, and do have a great day. Don't forget, at 10 we bring you the news update, and afterwards it'll be time for Insights with Lawrence. Do stay with us.